And I make no fuss about it because that's a fact. I stand on your head one more time. And I declare the victory of Calvary. Rich and strong. The blood of Jesus Christ. The blood of Jesus Christ. And they overcame him through the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Oh, have your way, God. Have your way today as we expect to hear from heaven. Define your love for us today. In the conquering name of Jesus, the people believe it and acknowledge the presence of the Lord and clap unto the Lord. Amen, amen, amen. Have your seats as you turn with me to 2 Kings chapter 4. It's 30 verses, but I cannot deal with the 30 verses. Too many truths. I just want you to take what I'm going to have to hustle. So many truths for you to live on. And just take it. Take the tape and listen to it again. I preached on this subject before, but the material is different. So if the subject seems familiar, the material is not. 2 Kings chapter 4. Let me just take verse 19 and then I'll come back. When the child was grown, it fell on the day that he went out to his father to the reapers. And he said unto his father, my head, my head. And he said to the lad, carry him to his mother. How typical of men. Anything wrong with the child? Take him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, the child sat on her knees till noon. And then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God and shut the door upon him and went out. This is no ordinary woman. If she was a typical Caribbean woman, she would have been bawling, screaming, oh God, you left me alone. She would say, husband, where are you? No, not this woman. She called her husband and said, send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the donkeys, that I may run to the man of God and come again. There are times when you can't run to your husband. There are times there's only one place for you to go. I'll tell you about that. And he said, well, what are you going to the man of God? What are you going to church today for? It's not new moon, there's no special Sabbath. And she said, watch these words carefully. It shall be well. You're a mother. Take your dead son. Put him on the bed. Shut the door. Can you say, with what you are going through today, it shall be well? You can? All right, I want to explain the difference between it is well and it shall be well. To the big difference, because when, verse 26, Elijah sent to Gehazi to meet her, 3 questions he asked. I want you to understand this. Say unto her, is it well with thee? Is it well with thy husband? And is it well with the child? 3 questions, 3 people. Is it well with each one of them? And she said, it is well. Which one of the questions did she answer? Really? Then she would be lying. I would explain to you the difference between saying it shall be well and it is well. So the question I have for you today in my theme is, when things die on your knees, can you say, it shall be well? And my topic is when your miracle dies. When your miracle dies. I will cut this short for many reasons, because I'm coming back to it next Sunday, God willing. There are things that you hold in your hands, sit on your lap, that truly came from God. The house you got was indeed a miracle. Man didn't help you, God gave it to you. But right now you are praying about it and it's dying on your knees. That spouse that God gave you, that marriage you had so beautiful, a miracle, it's now dying in your prayer life. Your finances, which were very high and very well organized, suddenly in the middle of the day, it's on your knees. You are praying about it, but it's dying. When your miracle dies, what will you do? Can it live again? Let's see how this woman got this miracle. And it so happens that Elisha was passing regularly on the road. She said to her husband, let's build a house, a room on the wall for this man so he can come. Let's put a bed, a table, a candlestick, and a stool. Make the man of God comfortable. It was because of this act of hospitality to the servant of the Lord that she got this miracle. So verse 13, and Elisha said, this woman has been very careful for us with all this care. She's shown us so much love, so much appreciation with all this care. What can I do for her? Should I talk to the king? Should I talk to the captain of the army? And she said, no, I'm all right. I dwell among my own people. I'm well taken care of. Next week I'll tell you about this woman, how wealthy she was, how rich she was, how affluent and influential she was. Suffice it that they wanted to do something for her. She had everything in life, except in verse 14. And Elijah said, then what can we do for her? And Gehazi answered, verily she had no child, and her husband is old. Two problems. One makes the other impossible. An old husband, no child. And then he said, call her to the door. The protocol was men shouldn't touch women in public. So she stood at the door of the room that she had made for him. And he said, about this season, according to the time of life, you will embrace a son. God works in seasons. And I am saying to you that your season is either here or it's coming. It must come. I have never met in this country a year where winter didn't come or summer didn't come. It comes. Your season is coming. Could you tell your neighbor something good? Tell them your season is coming. Encourage somebody. It's coming. And as a result of her hospitality, she got a son. A miracle from an old husband. It purely was a miracle. I want to emphasize that fact. It was a miracle. This fellow was old. I don't have to belabor the point. But God can take whatever is not working and whatever is not functioning. I'm talking spiritually now. And he can fix it. He can turn things around. Where there is death, he can bring life. Miracle I'm talking about. Miracle. This was not natural. They didn't have all those wonderful things. I could call some names, but they don't have them then. I want to emphasize that this child that she got was a miracle from God. That's my point. Are you with me? Can you say amen? Good. Now, what happens to this miracle 12 years later? We want to assume it was about 12 years because that's the time when children get licensed to go out of the house. So he went to meet his fathers of the reapers. I can talk a lot about the reaping and so forth. But he went to meet his father. And when he went, verse 19, he said unto his father, my head, my head, my head, my head. Apparently, there were two suspicions medically examining this text, is that he died from a sunstroke or from pneumonia. When he had sneezed 7 times, medical authority says it activated the lungs and caused him to breathe again because there's something pulmonary. I don't know. Whatever the cause was, whether it was a heat stroke or pulmonary infection, I cannot tell. But the child sat. The miracle sat on his mother's knees until noon, and the miracle died. And you ask God the question, how is it that the thing that you give me dies right in front of me? How come, oh God? I don't understand that. I don't understand. On my knees, I am praying, I am begging God every day, save my house, save my family, save my life, save Lord. And while on my knees, it's dying. How come? How can a miracle die? Can God remiracle a miracle? Can a miracle that died live again? Couple comments on this, my head. How many of you ever put your hand on your head and bawl? Yeah? You know what it means? Oh God, I can't take this no more. Oh God, this is too much for me. So you put your hands on your head because the pressures of life comes to your head. The worry comes to your head when you're mentally exhausted and you can't think no more. When you overthink until you have a headache, you put your hand on your head and cry for your head. The 2 things about that. It's either you are wearing a crown of thorns right now, which every believer will have to wear sometime for a short season. And the pressures of life will press those thorns into your head. And it will pain you. And you will scream. That crown will do one good thing for you. It will actually puncture the pressure points in your skull and release the pressure, and you will not know that you will feel better because you have a crown of thorns. But that aside, your crown is short-lived. The crown of, I want to tell you that your crown of thorns will be short-lived. Because Psalms 103 comes bouncing in with glory. Who crowneth thy head with loving kindness and tender mercies. Watch this. Don't take it for granted. When God exchanges the crown of thorn and put this crown on your head that he promised in Psalms 103, it's a crown of not just kindness, but loving kindness. He's not just going to be kind to you, but he's going to mix it with love. You know, some people could be kind to you with an attitude. Here, take that. Oh, you want it, borrow? Okay, take that. I'll give it to you. But not so. It's loving kindness. And it's not just mercy. It's tender, affectionate, compassionate, loving mercy that he will crown your head. Oh, you weary head that carries a crown now. Your season is coming when God will change that crown and give you a crown of tender mercies and loving kindness. Can I hear an amen? If your faith is in place. Hallelujah. Praise God. I'm looking to change my crown soon. Praise him. So the lad she hugged her baby son. Now understand what's happening here. This is her whole future. This is a dream. This will never happen again. Husband is 12 years older now. And she being so rich, he's the only heir to her whole future fortune estate. With this child dying, her dreams died. Her hope died. Her future died. Everything that she was living for died. She probably was in her early 50s, we assume. To have given birth somewhere in her 40s, 12 years, 14 years later, would put her somewhere in the 50s. But what a woman. A woman unlike any other woman in Scripture. A woman tempered with steel. A woman whose nerve will not be frazzled by what dies in her hands. She didn't bawl and call for her husband to run and come and have sympathy. She says, send me an animal. I am going to the source of this matter. I'm to the one who gave me the miracle in the first place. Hear me, child of God. No matter what is dying in your hands, when you want an answer, go to the one who gave you the miracle in the first place. If he gave it to you and something goes wrong with it, he alone can fix it. Somebody say amen. So the husband said, where are you going? It's not the Sabbath. It's no, the man of God is not available. She said, it shall be well. Hear what I'm going to tell you. When you say it shall be well, it's a statement of faith. But when you say it is well, it's a statement of fact. And you have to understand the difference. Before you can say it is well, you have to learn to say it shall be well. You have to speak in faith before you can speak in fact. Are you willing to say, it shall be well? And when the man of God asks you, how is it, then you can say, it is well. Hallelujah. Woo. Somebody get excited and help me. Before you can say it is well, you have to learn to say by faith, it shall be well. Now, I feel like the old man in this passage. I want to explain something to you. This woman is so wise. It's something I had to learn. It took me a long time to learn. And I want to tell you, you don't give each and everybody too many details of what you're going through. Watch it. Not even our own husband. What's wrong? Oh, it shall be well. Listen, that time you can't talk to your spouse because your spouse, nah, samjay, don't understand. No comprende. They don't understand what you're going through. All you can do is speak a word of faith to them. Hold on, honey. It shall be well. You can't give them too much details because they'll ask you more questions than you can answer. That's right. So she meets Gehazi. Gehazi asks her 3 questions. Is it well with you? Is it well with your husband? Is it well? Oh, she said, it is well. There are some people, I have found that out. If somebody asks me, how are you doing, Pastor? Well, you know, I ain't feeling so good. What? A man of God? Come on, I rebuke that. Some people you just have to say. And when you hear me talking to you now, and you ask me how you doing, you got my answer? It shall be well. Because if I only go to explain, you're going to have 10 more questions. You have to know who to talk to. But when she went to Elisha, she ripped into him. Now she found somebody who she could talk to. So Verse 27, and when she came to the man of God to the hill, she caught him by the feet. She dashed herself to his feet, hugged his feet, kissed it probably. Gehazi went to push her away. Here I'm going to tell you, if you bow, hug, and kiss the feet of Jesus, you will have to kiss nobody anywhere. How many times you kiss people, you know what I mean? You go after them, you beg them, you harass them, you trouble them. And all they do is push you away. Push you away. Say sometime future. Next time I can't do it now. Bow to the feet of Jesus, and you will never have to bow to anybody else. Amen. And as she was, this is just protocol. She shouldn't touch. Male and female in public shouldn't touch. And Elisha was very, very smart. He wouldn't even bring the woman in his own room. He kept her by the door and kept the man between him and her just to protect his image. Very important. A lot to learn. Preachers got a lot to learn from this example here. And so, he tried to push her away. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Second lesson, don't let people push you away from the things you're pursuing. They will try. People are pushy. And you are not a push around. Tell yourself that. Nobody's going to push me away from my pursuit of holiness, from my pursuit of godliness, from my pursuit of the Father's love. Nobody is going to push me away. I will bow at his feet. And so, the man of God said to him, leave her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And the Lord had hid it from me and had not told me. Third lesson is not everything God will show a man of God. Pastor, you didn't see that? No. We cannot see what God didn't show us. And to make up a vision is wrong. And to say God said something when he didn't say it is to make God a liar because he didn't say it. And you have to understand that men speak, true men of God speak what God tells them to. And he was honest to say, look, this woman is vexed in her soul, but the Lord hid it from me. And the Lord didn't show it to me. Why? This is one of the reasons why God don't show us everything, because if he had only shown him that, he would have come up with a plan and with a strategy to fix it. God loves an impromptu response, and that's called the faith response. And let me finish up here. As she ripped into him, verse 28, then she said, Did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I ask you for a child? Did I ask you for a child? Did I say, don't deceive me? She couldn't talk to her husband like this, and she couldn't talk to Gehazi like this, but she could talk to Elijah, who would understand, who knew her spirit was vexed, who discerned something deep inside of her hurting. Then Elijah said to Gehazi, hustle, take my staff and go put it on the face of the child. But nothing happened. There are times when you need more than the staff of the shepherd. You need the shepherd himself. There are times mortals like us could only follow instructions, but we bring no deliverance. I may carry a shepherd's staff, but it has no life until you come to the shepherd yourself. Until the shepherd comes into your room, into your environment. Let's see what's going to happen. as he comes. He locks himself in the room. Verse 32, and when Elisha was coming to the house, behold, the child was dead and laid upon his bed. Why do people bring dead things and put it on your bed? Why do they take their troubles and dump it on your bed? So that your bed becomes restless, so that you can't sleep. I was showing a brother last night, 11:30, I'm getting 2 texts. One from Massachusetts, Pastor, I'm in hospital, pray for me. One from Trinidad, Pastor, my pressure is too high, what can I do? Doctor, they didn't know my pressure was sky high at the same time. They didn't know how I was fighting it. And when people take things and put it in your bed, and you have a staff that ain't doing nothing, you lay the staff on it. I'm not talking about my staff now. I'm talking about the shepherd's staff. Oh, okay, I see where you're coming from. Yeah. He went in therefore and shut the door upon the 2 of them and prayed unto the Lord. He went up and lay upon the child and put his mouth upon his mouth and his eyes upon his eyes and his hands upon his hands and stretched himself upon the child. He identified with the child. Just like that. You said it right. He made the cross and kissed him with the kiss of life. That is what Jesus did for us on the cross. He stretched himself upon us dying corpse and breathed life back into us. That's the spiritual miracle. But this is what happens in our environment. When your miracle dies, prayer, effective prayer, is the only thing that can breathe life into the dead thing. Do not underestimate the power of prayer. The man walked up and down the house praying. He prayed and prayed and prayed until he felt to go and touch the body and touch the thing. And hear what I have to say. If you can do nothing, find your closet and learn to pray. And when you pray, the breath of God, the life of Jesus will come in to anything that's dead on your bed. Forgive me. How much minutes I did? 25, 28? I thought I was only going to give you 10. When your miracle, a real miracle, dies, can it live again? What's confusing you is that you are praying about it. It's on your knees and it's dying. That's the confusing part. You ask, well, why do I pray? Don't you ever stop praying. Prayer is the only key. Prayer is the only hope. Prayer is the only answer. Don't make it a common word in your vocabulary. Pray without ceasing. Do not give up. God wants you to continuously pray. Pray in season and out of season. Pray when things are going well and when things are not going well. Pray when you're on a mountaintop and when you're in a valley. Pray when finances are down and when finances are flowing. Pray, child of God. Pray, 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 pray until when we break up in the skies and we say, farewell, farewell, sweet hour of prayer. And after that, we will never have to pray again. Can you give God glory? For the weapon of our warfare. They are not carnal. They are not human origin. They are mighty through God. Prayer, the most powerful but the most unused weapon in the church. Destroy armies. Quench the violence of fire. Turn back the enemy. Tie the jaws of a lion. Quench the violence of fire. Women had the dead raised, a direct reference to the power of praying mothers and working fathers. If the thing that God gave you, a true miracle, is now, after 12, 14 years, it's dying on your lap, on your knees. Don't give up hope. Shut your door. Go back to the source of your miracle. Go back to the one who gave it to you in the first place and ask him to revive it. Ask him to re-miracle it. Ask him to do it again in prayer. And I guarantee you that the God of all grace and the God of mercy and loving kindness will come in your room, and upon that bed of death, he will raise it and bring it back to life. Can I hear an amen? When your miracle dies, you don't die with it. When your miracle dies, you don't die with it. You walk in faith. Say, it shall be well. Then say, it is well, and it will be well. Tell your neighbor something there. Tell him any one thing I said there. It shall be well. It is well. It will be well. God is good. It's going to happen. And build up your faith in the word of God. Hallelujah. Oh.